Eyes.
Green Tide, the slogan is traditional values for modern times. We teach young men how great it is to be a man, but how better it is to be a gentleman.
What's that mean to you?
Means everything. I really feel like it's just the kind of cornerstone of what's kind of missing in our society, especially with our young men. Just overall, the disintegration of the modern man in these last 20 years. I feel like this is kind of like the bedrock where we need to kind of start to kind of rebuild.
So how are you going about that?
Well, we go through a number one of workshops and mentoring, but really just sending the message home of just gentleman conduct and what that actually does for your mental health, will do for your life and your trajectory, as far as even giving yourself kind of a blueprint to have as far as being a man and growing up in this society these days.
So with the background of gentleman conduct, what is that? Break that down for me.
Oh, I would just think, it's overall the feelings of just being a man these days and not giving into the connotations of like toxicity or of anything of that sorts. Like a true man is empathetic. As far as Green Ties feels, we do care. We do have an obligation and a responsibility to society, and we should be more than pleased, if not honored, to have this opportunity.
And we got the green tie on too.
Absolutely. Wouldn't be caught without it. We do use the tie as a part of accountability for our students and our scholars of wanting to earn this green tie and actually be a man of substance and of gentleman conduct.
So it's kind of like a black belt in jiu-jitsu.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But no, gives the kids something to strive for and actually something to maintain, because it is a part of your accountability, and having your tie is going beyond the program and it's going beyond the workshops. Because to get your tie, to have the agreement between your school and your parents with green ties. Because if you're in the class and you're doing well and the workshop's going great for you, I love that. But if you're at home acting like a jerk, or at school acting like a jerk, maybe we're not learning as much as we should be.
So this is catered toward like high school kids. We're teaching classes, like going to schools, teaching classes?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have the mentoring classes outside of school as well, usually about 13 to 18. I do have kids as young as 10 years old that take the class. But as of recently, we're kind of expanding as well, because you don't know what you don't know. So we have expanded some of the etiquette classes up to about 25 years old.
Where are you hosting these? How are people signing up for them?
Well, you can definitely contact me through my website, greenties.org, through a number of community events, going through the schools as well. We do have some partnerships coming up in January as well that will be kind of just spread out amongst the Bay Area, different various locations.
And then in these classes, what are we teaching the kids?
Oh, we got a very, very exciting curriculum. We essentially just created that one class we all wish we would have had in school that just taught us to be successful adults. For financial literacy, gentleman conduct, business conduct. We're even bringing in real estate agents and car salesmen. As far as this kind of a quick overview, but we're throwing the whole kitchen sink at our kids these days, really to have them prepared for adulthood. We all wish we just would have had this one class, and I'm proud to say that it's here.
One of mine is navigating the engine of a car.
Okay.
I am not car savvy at all.
Yes, that is actually part of the overview as well.
I sure hope so.
As far as automotive and having culinary in as well. A lot of those major classes that we just didn't have to be exposed to, and our modern education system is great in this aspect of giving you just a whole kind of plethora of things to learn from. You're never going to be a historian if, you didn't get to take history or any of those type of classes. But as far as cooking and far as automotive and everything, like changing a tire doesn't sound like that big of a deal until it actually is a big deal, and you're kind of stranded in the middle of nowhere, and all these kind of life skills that were kind of left out of the school system have been able to kind of be filled in through Green Ties.
Do you remember when your first tire blew out?
Absolutely. Very endearing story, actually, is when I was about 12 years old. I was with moms and little sis and taking that whole kind of trip, out of state to go see family and everything. I was about 12 years old, and the tire popped.
Were you here in California?
It was California, but we were going across state lines to go see some family and everything. So we're kind of in the middle of kind of nowhere. And I wasn't really thinking about it much, thinking just, 12 years old, maybe mom's got this, and we didn't know what to do. But it was about 10 minutes into that whole panic that I remember that a friend of mine's neighbor, hey kids, you guys want to come learn something real quick? And this is where the jack's located. This is where the tire's located. You got to put it on the base of the car. Not the frame, but the actual frame of the car, just not the body. And was able to do that because sitting in that front seat, I had the light bulb go off. Like, Mom, I got it. I can do this. Hold on a second. And she's like, are you serious? And was able to get the tire out, get the whole jacked up car and everything. And it was one of the most endearing moments of my life. Because it wasn't about to like 10, 15 minutes down the road from us driving when everything kind of subsided that for the first time in my life, I felt like a real man, a protector, a provider, like I actually did something of service and I protected us. That was kind of really the epiphany, coming from a home, not having a father growing up or anything and not having those examples of what I could do or what we should be doing. That was my first opportunity. That was one of my first light bulbs as far as becoming a man of substance.
Why was that a big deal for you at that time? Did you even recognize it as a 12-year-old?
No, not at the moment, because once again, you're just a little kid until you actually get pushed into these moments where you have to kind of rise to the occasion, which is, I would think of most trials in our life that you think they're all bad, but they get you to rise up, they squeeze you and they push you up. And having that opportunity was, very scary at the moment, but such a triumphant moment afterwards, to know that what we're looking for is on the inside, and being able to kind of pull that out and everything, and becoming somebody that you didn't think you could be. I think is most motivation for all of our, especially our young men.
How old were you when you realized that was a big moment, a big memory to look back on?
It actually wasn't really till recently.
Yeah.
Really putting all this together. And kind of just digging deeper down as far as what does a man mean. And, when I speak about being a man and we need to act like men, I promise you it has nothing to do with violence or oppression. It's more of just a responsibility and an obligation that's been given to us that I think we should all be completely, once again, honored to have. That we get to be in this position to be protectors and providers and actually take a lot of joy from helping people.
Mm-hmm. And the Green Tie, it's been around since February, or was it here before? Because you moved in February, right?
Yes, I moved back full-time in February. It was started fully in September of 2024.
Okay, so we're over a year now.
A little over a year.
Your anniversary.
Yep.
And then what spurred it? Because you had a career beforehand.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I've always had a career in sales, and I've always done very well. But not to even sound like a jerk myself, it just became a point in my life where making money just wasn't enough. Needing purpose, needing, something more to give back to society and give back some of these talents and abilities that I've been given, and a lot of just, the life perspectives that I've been able to gain through my life. I wrote a book. It came out in February called Gentlemen of Fortune Academia. And when it took me many years to put the book together, but actually when I had the book in my hands, it was just more of like an epiphany on my end, as in, well, now I'm an author. And who would have ever guessed that wasn't supposed to be a part of the cards, and who would have ever thought that? And the idea was born from there, like, well, maybe I'm underselling myself. Maybe all of us are not dreaming big enough, because now I'm an author. Well, holy moly, man, like, what can I do now that I don't think I'm capable of, because this wasn't on the cards either. And that's when the idea for Green Ties actually really kind of just was set into my mind, that to create a school and have this $1 million idea that we've had, our parents have had, our grandparents have had, of having a class that really just taught us to be successful adults. No fluff, everything that you need jam-packed in a program to really almost guarantee your success, because now that you can be given a blueprint on conduct, how to make money, how money works, and how to purchase a home, how to purchase a car. Like, we had to learn all these things on the fly. And now, just having them equipped and everything, I think it's just such an amazing tool for our young men to be successful.
Yeah, I still don't know how to buy a house. We'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just to think of how empowered you were if you just knew all the details already as a young man, to go and sit down and go buy this house, and being able to sit there and be like, hey, young man, this is it. And you're like, well, what's that number? What's going on over here? And they're going to be like, oh, look, I'm going to explain it to you. And you're like, whoa, excuse me. I'm a Green Ties graduate. I've already been taught this, and just really how empowering it takes away any anxiety or pressure or just fear of young people going into this adult world. We can just make it really easy for you now, You're worried about homework and what you're wearing to school, and you can just kind of take it easy, and it's going to be a little pretty hard when reality hits you. Or what I insist on my students is, let's just make it a little bit harder now so we can just kind of coast into that adult life and already have you ready and trained and just really just prepared.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is why I love this idea is like we have a program for kids to build these skills that they're going to be using close to every day, if not every week, for sure at least every month.
Absolutely.
Into perpetuity. Where when we go into high school or college and we take history class or dinosaurs class as a GE in college, which I did, and you don't use it. You don't use it. But what are the things we do every single day? We're typically managing money, and we need to know how to make that money grow for ourselves, or how to be in a profit, or nix our spending expenses, things like that. We cook every day, at least hopefully. We're not door dashing. Yeah. Who knows what it's going to be, in 10, 20 years. We're already getting stuff dropped off at our doorstep. I used to DoorDash. I was a DoorDasher, and my mindset was always, I'm taking advantage of lazy Americans by doing this.
Yeah.
Because I'm getting paid, someone paid like $30 for like a burrito from Taco Bell. I just delivered it, and they gave me a fat tip, and I'm like, this is wild that this is a thing.
Well, how society changes. I'm a little bit older myself. Grew up when the internet first came around and everything. The last thing you ever wanted to do was ever give your personal information out on the internet, or somebody from the internet to come to your house and everything. So how fast things change, but it's very much how much things stay the same as well. As far as these traditional values, and like you said, using a lot of the program every day. As far as, once again, gentleman conduct, and using that every day, and the benefits of your life of just being a pleasure and just being respectful and polite, and what those will give back to you in a very short amount of time.
So with the program, we're teaching car stuff, automotive things. So
Absolutely.
We're teaching culinary stuff.
Absolutely.
We're teaching etiquette.
Absolutely.
And then, so what are the other pieces of the cake?
Well, definitely, first and foremost, financial literacy, and just how actually money works, bringing in definitely some top professionals that are local, that really are buying into the mission and the program that we're doing. So definitely having the community support means just the world to me, just to show a lot of our kids, especially our at-risk kids, that you guys are cared about, and the city's going to come out to help you and support you guys. But I need you to meet me halfway, and we can actually provide this education to literally know, because the common thing I hear back is, well, Mr. Green, when I get a lot of money, I'll start saving. Or when I get all this, then I can start doing all these things. But to send the point home, it's not about having a lot of money to make money. It's about being responsible with the money that you do have. If you only have $10 a day and you're willing to spend $5 a day on coffee or $5 on whatever every day, we can put that to $100,000 a day, and you're ready to spend $50,000 a day. It doesn't really change, but giving them just the education and more or less the whys on why you should be doing this, and why these things are responsible for you to do, and why you should.
Are there other parts of the curriculum?
I think just what really just sends it home, because even to kind of expose the curriculum and everything, it's almost like a bait and switch that I'm using. Because really after the curriculum, but really learning after, the foundation of the curriculum is Stoic philosophy, and giving them an opportunity to share some of these great writings and these great teachings of, choosing logic over feelings and emotion, and not getting lost in the present moment of your feelings. But having that ability to really just debate and switch is, they wanted financial education, they want the culinary, they want the gentleman conduct and how to dress and how to act and everything. But it's a prerequisite to join Green Ties is to be a gentleman and already have this gentleman behavior. We're not taking baby steps to being polite or being respectful, because we know how to act and we know what we want, and giving them just the platform to do so they can show it for themselves. So the switch is having the curriculum, having them there so interested in making all this money and doing all this great stuff, which they will be able to learn, but having the opportunity to have their ears and have their undivided attention to keep sending home these values of being a good person, being respectful and being responsible and all these things, and having just that ability to keep hammering those home while they're learning all this amazing stuff.
That's great. Love that.
Yeah.
For the gentleman conduct, the responsibility, respect, those things, what are the details that these kids are like? What are they learning in regards to that topic?
Well, I'll just think all the incredible benefits that come. So if I had to go to like a core value of, Green Ties is definitely just gentleman conduct. And what you actually get from gentleman conduct immediately, as far as like even with your like mental health per se, you'll be setting natural boundaries. You can't, it's unbecoming of a gentleman to be around people that are loud and disrespectful and are not actually focused on their lives and focused on what they're going to do in the future and what their actually contribution is to society. And that will be one of the first things that you can actually check yourself on, because all we can truly ever do is control ourselves and our behaviors and how we actually interact with the world and how the world interacts with us. And that's where it really starts at. And as long as, if we can start, especially with a lot of our at-risk kids, having just a moment of self-reflection and self-respect for ourselves, that gives us the ability to respect other people and actually enjoy other people, because you're so locked in on yourself and your behaviors that you're actually able to see the world as it is and actually make proper movements and proper placements that you need to do for yourself as a gentleman.
And this is for primarily at-risk kids?
No, this is for everybody. Just in seeing that, the program originally was started, because I'm to get a little bit deeper in our conversation and everything. I'm trying to just save a bunch of meats. I come from an at-risk home, Section 8 welfare, single-parent home, all that kind of great stuff, I would say. So the kids that I'm really after are really, I would initially start was just a bunch of myself that can just really just use that extra mentoring and actually just use some very kind words, as in, to my young men that feel like they don't have any hope because of the homes they're coming from or the financial circumstances they're coming from. I'm telling you, there is complete hope. There is an opportunity. There is a way out. And if you guys have been waiting for something just to fall out of the sky to teach you everything that you're kind of these missing pieces, today's the day. And Green Ties is here to make change, and we have arrived.
What was that day or moment for you, however many years ago, when you decided to flip the switch and be like, I'm going to take the bull by the horns and start being a victor and figure this out?
Yeah, no, I think it all comes down to circumstances in life. I believe it's when I had my daughter. I was just living a life of just complete selfishness, but I think that goes for most parents, and especially our men, when you having that child, and of all things, this a baby girl, that really had me square up and really start attacking this life. And my first change was all through self-education and actually starting to read some books and getting out of my own way to think that we want to do some amazing things in this world and we don't know so much how to go about it, but to think that someone's wrote a book about what they did to accomplish this amazing thing that you would like to accomplish and actually told you how to do it, and the trials and tribulations they had and the things to avoid and everything. And if you just simply read some of these books, it's insane when you think of it that way. But through that clarity, that's when you can actually kind of gain that wisdom and just discipline on yourself that someone else already wrote about it. You can learn about these things and be better for it. And that's where my whole journey started.
I had a similar one. For me, it was during chiropractic school, and I was coming off an injury. I was coming off stacking on, I was like tutoring classes, I was the school photographer, I was being an intern too, and it was just boards, it all just kind of just came crashing down on me. And I went to a business seminar, and I was given a book, and that book was called Connected to Goodness. Okay. And I didn't get into it until that summer. My family and I went to London and Ireland for 2 weeks. And I was coming off this super gnarly leg injury. I basically had nerve damage and stuff, and progress wasn't tracking well, and I had a tough time walking. I was terrified of not being able to handle our typical days. Because when we travel, we don't get cars, so we're walking all the time. Yeah. And it's 8 to 10 miles a day. And my leg, I could barely even get around campus. I mean, when you're in Italy and whatever, Europe, driving is not just ideal. Yeah. You take the transit and then you walk. Yeah. And I remember being absolutely terrified of my leg. And so I took it upon myself. I was like, hey, I need to do something for this every day. And I kind of like figured out what movements, kind of rehab stuff, helped my leg out. And then I would finish way before the rest of my family was ready to go. So I had all this extra downtime. And then that's when I started reading. And I started reading this book, and it really went in on a lot of the mental piece of things, just different frames, different phrases. Like one of the main ones I remember is that morale dictates performance. Because I was stuck in a rut, and I was like, I can't figure out, like, how am I in this energetic block? Like, all of last year, everyone was asking me, how are you able to handle all this and still be energetic and all this stuff? And then I just started tanking. And that was a phrase that I still remember. I mean, 4 years ago, I still think about that. It's just morale dictates performance. So if your performance is dropping, well, then you need to look at the source of performance, which is morale, and you need to start tending to that bucket.
Absolutely.
And so I was moving every day, taking care of my leg. My legs started getting better. I was reading every day, every morning. And then the book also went in a lot on meditation. So then I started, let's just play with this. That was actually one of my things for that year. Each year I picked 2 things to dive in on and play around and figure out.
Yeah.
And 2022, one of them was meditating. I was like, let's just see what this is like. Let's just figure this out. I've always been a pretty like mentally sound dude, I would say.
Yeah.
And so I just started going into that. And then so I started moving, I started reading, I started meditating. And then in Ireland, one of the places we were at, the hot water wasn't working. So it was just cold showers. And then I started like, hey, cold showers, I feel awake right now. Oh my goodness. And I started doing that like every day, essentially on that trip, got back to school, and then I would repeat that formula some days I wouldn't. I would notice that on the days I wouldn't, my mind would speed up. Yep. I would let my externals speed up my internals. And that's when I realized, like, maybe I need to do this every day. Yeah. And I started doing that every day, and then I got right back to how I was. And then I pretty much did that whole flow for like a year and a half, 2 years straight.
Hats off to you, man. Them cold showers alone are something.
I did one this morning because I was tired, dude. I was tired. Last night I fell asleep on the couch at like 9 p.m. And I had the option of either I'm going to work out there before this in the morning, or I'm going to do it after one of my patients. And then when the alarm at 5 went off, I was like, I'm going to sleep. So I didn't get out of bed till 6:40. And whenever I don't train in the morning, I use a cold shower to wake me up. So that's what I did this morning. It's a nice little.
No, hats off for the discipline, man. Because that's obviously that's what separates all of us. Like I said, motivation, fades and comes up and down and everything, but then the discipline, just doing the work and everything. Mm-hmm. And it's just so great, even you sharing that. It was out of reading as well, because the phrase that really changed my life in one of the first couple of books I read was, a man that does not read is no better off than a man that can't read. I had to put the book down when I read that one. I had to put it down on the table. I had to take a walk real quick and just be like,
wow.
Okay, all right, because that one hit me straight to the core.
A man that does not read is no better than a man that can't read. There's so many secrets in books. There's so many lessons in books.
Yeah. And that's what we try to compile when we put in the curriculum together, as far as, sometimes you got to read a book, this thick, just to take a couple things. And I call them gems. You'll have 2 or 3 gems out of 800 pages. But they are worth finding. I wanted to compile a curriculum just full of gems, just to actually just have it out and just have all these things just really completely condensed and have nothing but just, a curriculum of just real things that they're going to really use on a day-to-day basis, and just give them that strength and confidence that they can actually come over any type of lack of motivation, because now they actually have the gems and the discipline to follow through.
What were those books? What were your first books?
First book, obviously Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich. I try to read that at least once a year just to keep that everything right there on the frontal lobe. But a lot of the typical ones in the beginnings, I just did like the top 10 books you should be reading. So 48 Laws of Power. We stepped into The Secret as well. I'm reading 12 Rules to Life right now by Jordan Peterson.
How's that?
Great.
Yeah.
Absolutely great. And what I commend on these authors is giving their opinions and everything, but what I try to push for everybody is, we have these beliefs, we have these, our things in our mind that we hold near and dear, but without reading and expanding these ideas in our own beliefs, they're not really tested. And to, And I think that's so important as we age and mature and everything, to have these things in our head actually be tested. This is how you feel and this is what you think. Perfect. Read someone else's perspective. Especially that's articulated well, to see if you still feel like this and see where you're going to be at as you keep cultivating, your prowess of being an adult and everything. Because a lot of the points even that Jordan Peterson has in his were all very, very just simple beliefs that, that things really haven't changed so much as far as even in this technological world, as far as just being humans and how we process things.
I actually completely forgot about that book. I've been reading a lot of books with the SEALs has been a big one this year, just because I was part of our curriculum with the thing I was with, and I was also given another one. So that's been 3 of my 4 books so far this year. Has been Extreme Ownership by Jocko, Fearless, which is a story about Adam Brown, who passed away in Afghanistan, and then Seal of God I just finished yesterday. Okay. And then the other one is Profit First, which was a book from another retreat I did, and I probably have maybe 40 pages left or so.
Okay.
But now I'm on a kick towards like next year. Like I'm past that program I was with, so now I can get back to kind of picking my books.
Yeah.
And like I want to do all of the cliche books. I want to get back into some health books. I haven't read a health book probably since like 24 or so I need to get back into that, or since maybe 23. So I like getting back into that because that is stuff that I can teach my patients.
Absolutely.
Which is a big one. I want to read Atomic Habits. I've not read that one yet. I want to read The Alchemist. I heard everyone talks about that.
I've not had that out, but I have read Atomic Habits, which I think is going to be a great run for you, especially with your level of like discipline and motivation. I think it's really, really going to help because once again, you can read the book and take these little gems, and it's just like it's just powerhouse.
One of my favorite Instagram accounts to follow is called Wins World. It's a dude that he's like an Army, Air Force, I think lieutenant, but he posts a bunch of workouts and he posts a bunch of just kind of like life discipline stuff. And one of them, he says, one of his reels is like, it's not motivation and then not even discipline, but it's just following through with your word. Yeah. And that trumps the other two. Because I've had spurts of motivation, and motivation is pretty good fuel.
Yeah.
But it's short term. It's like it's the rocket fuel that.
Yeah, exactly.
But then it just tanks. Discipline can get you farther.
Absolutely.
But if you stay too rigid, you can become burnt out, and then you tank.
Absolutely.
So then what's left after that is just sticking with your word. When you said the thing 3 months ago that you're going to do, now is the time to where the test, the foot meets the road or Absolutely. The rubber meets the road, whatever it is. And that's when it's actual. You have to go into. I mean, I had that mental battle Sunday morning. I needed to go get a workout in because I have a structure of plan I'm following.
Yes.
I have my buddies who are all super jacked, super strong. I was doing this body weight endurance stuff, and they want me to catch up to them. Yeah. And it's a gnarly, like 5-day split that my buddy programs. Well, I also still want to keep up the conditioning stuff in the morning with the kids too. I have the high schoolers joining me. You've been there. Yep. And so it's 5 days, 2 days. So 7 sessions in a week. But also I need 2 off days. I need 2 days to just let the body chill. So for me, my off days are now Tuesdays and Saturdays. So I go Sunday, Monday, double day Monday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So basically my week starts on that Sunday morning. And I do stuff during the day, work, and then I have see my grandparents at night. So my only opportunity to get it in is in the morning before I do my drive. And if I don't do that one thing, then everything else is just going to tank. Yeah. Because everything else will fall apart. Yeah. So this past Sunday was my first Sunday of that. And I was laying in bed, the alarm went off at 5. I pressed snooze for 30 minutes and just playing this yo-yo of, I could do it later. I could do it after I go to grandparents' house, da-da-da. And then the other voice was like, dude, if you don't do this workout, you're going to jack your entire plan up if you don't do this.
Slipping in, man.
And that was not motivation. That was not discipline. Because I was so cozy in my bed. Yeah. And it was literally just last night you said you're going to do it. Now comes the time where you have to follow through with your word. Are you going to follow through with your word?
Absolutely.
And at 5:45, or 5:40 or whatever, got out of bed, brushed my teeth, and I was late to when I wanted to be there, but I checked the box, and I was so happy the rest of the day that I got it done. I was like, thank goodness I got that done.
Yeah, and I think this goes back to, once again, like just self-respect, coming back to like accountability and having that for yourself, because if you don't have it for yourself, but if you can create a good enough network around you for people to hold you accountable, like, surprise, surprise, a phrase I use a lot is a gentleman keeps his word. And usually when I'm making meetings and even coming up today and everything, that's usually what I say, just to even emphasize to you and as much as myself the discipline of keeping your word and how important it really is. So I think that's just an amazing organic kind of thing that just happened and everything, which I really appreciate you saying, because you want to put it out there, and you want that accountability even from people that are around you. And that's what happens, once again, being gentlemen, behavior and conduct, and setting proper barriers, and having people around you that are beneficial to your life, and that are so even more happy about your change, becoming a gentleman and being supportive of it.
You get all these kids that you have to start saying a gentleman keeps his word to everyone they come in contact with.
No, absolutely.
Shake the hand at the cash register at Safeway. Hey, gentleman keeps his word.
Because if I'm going to say I'm going to do something, I definitely am.
You got to do it.
Yeah.
Literally, if you just keep your word, it separates yourself so far from the pack. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, especially with these days, everybody's so kind of flip-flopping and everything like that. I just want just a huge tool for themselves and everything, just to really just send that home, and how impactful that really is. And especially when especially these days and everything, when you shake someone's hand and tell them that you're going to show up and everything, and you actually show up. Mm-hmm. Especially when even if they give the feeling of, the status quo, like this guy's probably full of it and this guy talks a lot and everything like that. But that feeling of showing up and actually what that means to that relationship that you're actually keeping your word to, I think is just one of the most powerful tools that we actually have. And, once again, coming back to just ourselves and only controlling ourselves, be a man of substance. Give your word, but keep it. And just, all the beautiful, beautiful things that follow in your life as far as, setting this type of standard for yourself.
Don't be flimsy.
Don't be flimsy. Just, speak your truth, be polite, be respectful, always be yourself. I just don't ever want to think that it's something of like a brainwash or, something of such a complete change and everything. It's you being the best form of you and just being polite. Green Ties, we have, a funny goal, dream that I know is almost impossible, but I want it to be cool for our young people to be polite. I would like things to be said amongst these teenage boys. They'd be like, hey, stop, you cuss too much. Stop cussing so much. Or someone to check another friend and be like, hey man, be polite. Because there is no other really way to get to where you want to go. And to be knowing of a man of such, a man that keeps his word, and a man that is respectful and polite, even on his worst days, the power that gives you, that will generate, and just the energy around you and the people that you will attract into your life cannot be spoken about enough.
It's a difference maker.
Absolutely.
Be the standard.
Be the standard. And, everybody wants to be a leader, but usually leaders are chosen. And if you're not rubbing off on people around you in a positive way, you may not be much of a leader, because you're supposed to be daring to care and going first and living by the standard. And when you do, that's when people actually want to follow suit as well. Is being polite and being respectful and seeing all the gifts that you get for such.
My colleague, boss in Arkansas, he has the phrase where there's a lot of Indians, but not a lot of chiefs. I think that speaks exactly to it.
I know, absolutely. Because I just like the idea, when people want to be entrepreneurs and go into, you can make your own schedule. You can make as much money as you want and everything. But if you actually lack the discipline, the motivation is easy, but the discipline to actually set your schedule. Because I don't know, when you set your own schedule, I think it's been said 1,000 times that, you're not 9 to 5 no more when you have your entrepreneurship. 9 to 5 is completely gone. You need to answer that phone when it rings, and you need to show up when you need to, and you need to give your word, and you need to keep your word, especially when you're building something worth, and have the patience with yourself and giving yourself grace, and such a whole kind of mind thing when you kind of step into this arena.
Your reputation's everything.
Absolutely.
One of the only things you got.
No, absolutely. That's why we take so much pride, I would say, in our look. But knowing me and everything, you can tell I don't really take myself too seriously and everything. But as far as the look, and it's such, for our youth to want to get into this space of just being a gentleman and everything, I think it's just so important to be the company. Because I do get a lot of, wonderful compliments like, Mr. Gray, man, you look great. Like, young man, thank you very much. But my question to you, do you want to dress like this? Do you want to dress like a gentleman? Do you want to present yourself like this? And I just have an amazing time. So usually the parents will be right there and the kids are like, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely want to dress like that. And you got mom and dad, mouth on the floor because this young man wears Jordans and pajamas every day. And now he wants to wear a three-piece suit because he's actually seen it play out and see what, kind of attributes that come and what kind of feelings that come with actually just presenting yourself nice, and what that actually really does for you. Our man Deion Sanders, Primetime, got an amazing saying that I've quoted for a long time and everything. He said, if you look good, you feel good. And if you feel good, you play good. And if you play good, they pay good. And I just use that as an example with the young men, as far as, have you ever worn a suit? Oh yeah, I've worn a suit before. Like, okay, well, how did you feel? Like, felt really good. I'm like, okay, well, how did you look? Oh, no, I know I looked good. Yeah, I look great. Yeah, okay. Like, all right, young man, so when I asked you originally how you felt, you said okay. Yeah, okay, well, how do you think I feel? You probably feel pretty great. And what motive? Absolutely. That's just all from attire. So you want to talk about motivation up and down. The discipline of dressing nice and everything will continue this feeling over, that you can go and attack the world because you feel good, you look good, and now it just gives you all of that kind of just momentum to build your dream. And once again, set a standard and just keep the discipline of the goal.
The aura.
Absolutely.
The aura around the suit and the tie.
Absolutely. And be known for substance. Be knowing, knowing of the discipline to keep yourself looking presentable first and foremost. Because I think culturally we've kind of lost that as well, with the modern man. We dress nice when we go outside and everything, not for us, but to represent our parents. To go represent our grandparents and all the struggles our family tree has made for us to be here. And that is why we go out respectful and look polite and be respectful and be polite and look respectful. All these other things that we did because culturally we're supposed to be representing our ancestors and our people that got us here. And as a respect and a testament to them and all their hard work.
That's good. When you were saying that, it made me think of how we are often a different character dependent upon who we are around.
Yeah.
Even for people who say, I am the same person no matter who I am around. You're realistically acting different around your grandma versus your mega boys.
Yeah.
It's just this, like, you have different filters, you have different conversations.
Absolutely.
That's how it's going to be. With your grandma, I know this is your grandma. Like, you're going to be an absolute angel to your grandma. At least I hope you are.
Absolutely.
But also, when you have those different personas, same thing with the attire, can have a different persona as well. Just like the kid wearing Jordans and pajamas.
Yeah.
He is a different person when he's wearing the Jordans and pajamas versus when he is wearing the three-piece suit. He puts on the hero costume. Now he is the hero version of himself. And at the end, well, that's really who we are all chasing, is that hero version of us. We have someone in our head that we can almost tangibly taste. I could be that guy.
Yeah.
I could figure out a way to become whoever is in my head. There's superhero me, superhero Chris. What do I need to do to get to him?
Absolutely.
And we all have that daydream or that fantasy.
Absolutely.
And it's up to us to make the choice to pursue that version of us. And in that pursuit, you end up becoming that person, that version of you that you are chasing, that evolution. And then there's some people who they envision it, and that's all they do.
It's just the power of action. And I think you just, said it the most. I think we're really ordained with having superhero talents. I think we're also, overall, we're also so talented to have these abilities. In Green Ties is more or less taking Superman and turning Superman into Clark Kent, kind of on a reverse. Because we have all these abilities, but how do we fit that in the corporate world? How do we monetize a lot of these talents and to get to the business side of ourselves? Because like I said, I think you hit it on the head as far as having that image of the superhero you. And the first thing, you can do is take the action to actually look like it, to feel like it. And then you start building on it because you don't know what you don't know. And as you're moving through, you know, a lot of these negatives are always positives when you look back on them. Like, I didn't know this. And it kind of set me back a little bit. But now that won't ever happen again because of through action and through, you know, claiming the superhero person that we want to be gives us that power to actually find these things out and to get better and to strive. And to give all that motivation every morning to know that you look good and everything, you're feeling great and everything. That's such, you know, that's such the first step, because the road's going to be so difficult from there. But to know that you feel good and you're looking good and you're getting these, you know, these compliments per se, because I find it very interesting as far as like having the power of perception. I know one of the chapters in the book is, you know, we go
Chapter 2
is that we go to, you know, the same convenience stores, we go to the same gas stations, we go to all these same places and everything. And I think how you're adorning your attire is how you're usually perceived and how you're treated. You know, I'll go into the same, you know, gas station and everything. I'll have t-shirt and some sweats on or something, and the same guys I see will be, hey, bro, what's up, man? John, man, what's going on, bro? Da-da-da-da. Great conversation. I love these people. I see them all the time. But then, you know, stopping by this morning, of all mornings, walking with the suit and everything, now it's Mr. Green. Good morning. How you doing, sir? Absolutely, everything's awesome. You know, and how the power of perception really changes with people, because I do respect myself and I do hold myself to a different accord that people will naturally want to do so as well. And I think it's very interesting, something that we should all be very keen on, as far as how you present yourself is going to be the reality of your life. Mm-hmm. And if we're wanting to level up and we're wanting to go to these bigger places, we got to at least, you know, if not feel the part, is to look the part.
Mm-hmm. Well, and having that superhero background, I love the Superman to Clark Kent, reversing the role.
Yeah.
It's what you do behind the scenes
Yeah.
that no one sees, that gives you the confidence and evidence that you are who you believe you are, or look back in the mirror of being, putting on the everyday human suit, and not needing to boast about what you do behind the scenes.
No, that is why I absolutely love just like manners in general, because like just having good manners is something we all can do to show off, but never brag about. To go somewhere and have eloquent, you know, plating skills and eloquent conversation and everything, and being polite and respectful and everything is something that we can really do to shine, but you can never brag about it. Just think it's absolutely beautiful. And as far as, you know, some of these key phrases that kind of helped me get along, a great phrase that I was told is, you know, winners get praised in public for the things they do behind closed doors. You know, so for some of these, you know, talks I give in presentations, you know, I'm definitely perceived as, yeah, it comes easy to him, and you know, that's just, it's a gift that he has. But I can assure you, behind closed doors, I am working on this. I am going towards greatness. So I'm studying other great speakers. I'm reading. I'm, you know, divulging myself in all of this, you know, information and all of this speaking and all this great concepts and ideas and things like that. So if this comes out easy, that's a great, you know, notch to have, I guess. But to understand that the work that has to be done, like we all love the alpha dog in some of these, you know, movies and these shows that we watch and everything, but we always overlook the hard work that they put in. You know, it's not really fun to see, you know, your favorite lawyer per se and everything like that in the library for 8 hours looking for this one answer. Then, you know, they just montage it for you. Then the sun comes up and I found the one answer, because who wants to watch 8 hours of reading or anything? But if that's what it consists of and that's what it needs to take to get where you need to go, the discipline, you know, will take you there.
Those background preparation that you do for all of Green Ties, for all of the presentations, creating the curriculum, going out networking, presenting, you just won 5 awards on one night or something. What is that background preparation structure, flow, like breakdown, like the behind the scenes day or week for you, navigating, orchestrating all this stuff? What is that?
Oh yeah, well that's like just in the beginning. It's really just planning it out. Like, what do you really want? And I think initially, in your initial planning,
do you do that on Sundays? Is that Monday? More like when are we doing this?
Yeah, I would think we try to do a Sunday night to kind of just prepare for the week and get everything kind of going and everything. But once again, it's having that structure. And in the beginning, starting, so we're just a year in. It's really about just having many as legs as possible and seeing like the application of your business may be way more than just what it is. I have a phrase in the book because if you set your goals high enough, your failures may surpass other people's achievements. And it's really about just putting that goal very, very high to really, to try to achieve something really big.
Say that again.
If you set your goals high enough, your failures may surpass other people's achievements.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm going for all the way up here and I just end up here below my goal, that is better than just, I just want to start out here and this is all that I want to do. Mm-hmm. And just really just setting out your day on a way bigger spectrum that you can imagine and expect these type of things, but obviously work towards them, but expect that these good things are going to happen because you are putting in the work and being out there in the public and being out there during this journey, because all we have is the journey. We all want this destination point and everything, but it's the story along the journey is really the fun part. To think that, I'm going to be able to look back on this interview years from now being like, man, I didn't really know much. I was so naive then. And I thought, look at me thinking I had it all figured out and I thought I knew where I was going.
We're in a white plastic table in a turf gym.
And a beautiful, beautiful.
And we're all gassed up about it.
Yeah, exactly. And once again, it's the journey. Today's a peaking day. Today's a very exciting day. And to be in the present, to be grateful, and to know that we worked to get here and we're working to get past here and everything. This is the fun times. And as long as we can stay in there, this really helps with the discipline and even times of lack of motivation that we're on the path. You wanted to be here. You wanted to take this journey and everything like that. We're here. And this is what it is, the ups and the downs and left. This is the excitement part as far as, being like an athlete like yourself and everything. This is a part of it. Mm-hmm. And how exciting and how, grateful and lucky we are to be, to have the nerve, to have the drive to be here, to actually do it. Action.
Yeah, the podcast has been something that I did out east. It started summer of 23. So we did that for about a year, and then we changed producers, and then it just kind of tapered off and lost the fuzz. So me moving back here, I knew that this is a piece of what I enjoy and also need to do. And that was in April. And when did we meet? We met, was it May? It was at the nonprofit thing.
Yeah, no, definitely.
You were getting a croissant or something.
Yep.
And then I came up, got the chat, both realized we just moved back here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what kicked it off.
Yeah, no, I went all kamikaze on, man. I kind of just went on left field, all puns intended. And I was like, you're a baseball player, aren't you?
Well, I had a baseball polo hat on, shorts.
Yeah. Just went completely kamikaze, like, I think I know an athlete when I see one and everything like that. So
that's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then maybe next time we hung out, I think you told me about the podcast studio in Martinez. So I went down that rabbit hole. I went there probably 3 times, and to see the space, do a quick test run, and then I was like, okay, I got this podcast space, I got the stuff, and start getting people, and for some reason it was like, it's just something doesn't feel correct about it.
It's a little more Hollywood, I would say, than maybe what you're trying to, your platform's actually trying to bring.
Yeah, well, they had some weird stuff too about if you wanted to do it for your own thing or you wanted to do it for this, or what's the purpose of it that determines whether or not you can do it for free or do it for pay and and I wanted it to be like Modern Wisdom. I love it so much. I love it being in the different environments and having the different things, and maybe the next time there will be 3 cameras. We'll have a dude managing the thing. There'll be actual lights overhead. Yeah. Who knows, right? Yeah. But after doing the big event in last month, and having that now behind me, and now I can actually all that mental energy that I was wasting on daydreaming about what that could be like. I know what it's like now. Yeah. Now I can actually all the focus can get onto crafting all of these other pieces. And this is way more enjoyable for myself than being in this little cubicle with a mic there and having the camera go and having to schedule and coordinate there. It's like this is sweet. Yeah. It's just us in this big old room.
Yeah, I just think the freedom and everything. But yeah, even with with the other studio and everything, I just want to give shout out to ourselves and everything of just not gatekeeping. and sharing resources and just being respectful and kind with one another, and just I think the ultimate respect of what you're doing, what you're trying to do, and two worlds coming together and finding reasons and ways to collaborate that just benefit both and don't take away from anybody, and not this world with gatekeeping and resources and everything like that is a little bit of an issue that I've kind of run into, but I refuse to be a part of the problem. And I just think it's absolutely amazing I was able to actually just kind of give you that piece to start your own journey down your own path to find out, like, holy man, because when I found out, I was like, that's crazy. That's, we can have our own Wayne's World show and everything. That's insane.
Right.
But even for myself to find out, that makes maybe not as, the perfect avenue, but I want to go down. But once again, as far as, knowing what you don't know and having these opportunities to learn and get better, I'm just so proud of you, man, for taking the step forward. And, here we are, man. It's happening. It's going.
I know.
It's
We're
going.
in it.
Yeah.
We're currently in it.
Yeah.
It's just like circling back towards that behind the scenes, what it has to do behind the scenes to get to where this is at. I mean, really all this is just, it's a microphone and a tripod.
Absolutely.
And I learned 2 different things that can make the camera go to 4K. And I was like, okay, well, what am I waiting for?
Yeah.
Like I have my little crew. There's a little crew of people now that I can have some trust with, that I have interest with, that I think could have an interesting conversation and reveal some things. Like I really enjoyed our book flow and stuff that we did. And there's other nuggets that we went on too. But it got to a point where it's like, hey, I've done the thinking. I understand how this works. Now it's just, it needs to go. We need to start doing this. I made the Instagram account for the podcast. I haven't done anything with it yet, but it's there.
Yeah.
Then I have this. And then we start crafting that up. I got to figure out how to get it on the Spotify with the video.
Yeah.
Then we get it synced up with YouTube. Figure out a way to make that easy so then it takes it off my plate. And just all those behind the scenes, like when your kids, like when you share this link with them and they watch this and they're like, how are these 2 dudes doing this? Yep. And it's all that behind the scenes stuff to just create a video.
Yep.
And then distribute it and have that be something that people can have access to. The behind the scenes is crazy.
Yeah, but not just think like so exciting. Just once again, because I've come across a lot of people like I want to have a podcast. I want to do this. I want to do that and everything. But no, I just can't commend you enough, and just my hat's off to you with the utmost respect, because this is action. Here we are. We're going through it.
And we get to walk like the rest of our day or week. Just like how you say, like when you get to go outside with the suit on and you have this different persona. We now have this different persona versus we did a podcast today.
Yeah, exactly. and now we feel good, and this is going to roll over to the rest of our, give us absolutely. So that's why I can't say it enough as far as going through action. And just, we're just so afraid of things not happening, but these fears are just so internal, and they're just not really real, and we'll sell ourselves on that. I know so many people that would want to be in this situation, what you're doing, and actually having the nerve to start it and actually follow through with it and everything. So I can't commend you enough. And this is how things happen. This is how things happen. Collaboration. You speak about it. A gentleman keeps his word. You said you were going to do this. You said you'd have me on. I told you I was in full support, and even to the point before we even decided, I was giving you my resources and how to get there. Yeah. And you found your own way there, which is even the best, as far as even when I give the kids, like, here's the blueprint. One of the best questions I hear back from the kids is like, well, Mr. Green, I think I want to tweak my blueprint a little bit. Is that okay? Like, yes, of course it's okay. That's perfect. Make it work for you. You have something. You have a structure. Now go do your best job at it and everything. And I think that's definitely what you're doing. So, and no, hats off to you, man.
That's awesome. That's Hormozi says, when you have nothing, that makes you the most dangerous because you have nothing to lose.
Yeah, no, and a man who wants nothing is unstoppable, Yeah. And I think once again, just like being like extremely just grateful and just positive and just for life. Like, you ever try to be rude to a truly grateful person, a truly polite person? Like, it exposes how much of a jerk you are. Like, within 30 seconds, you say something mean, and they're like, "Well, I'm sorry that you feel like that. Can I apologize?" "Yeah, it doesn't matter." Blah, blah, blah. Like, well, okay, is there anything I can do to make it up to you? Like, no, because you're just blah, blah, blah. Like, okay, well, once again, I apologize profusely. I'm just going to excuse myself because I don't want to further upset you. How do you leave that person with all this, how do you think this other person's going to feel when they're just wanting a reaction? And I just think, just out of human nature, there's the positive that feels good, and you can even do the negative that makes you feel bad, but then kind of makes you feel good at the point. There's another, right in the middle, just human emotion is indifference. I think it is one of the coldest places that you can be for somebody, but I think it's also one of the most freeing as well, to be in a situation where you don't have an emotional connection to it. Like that really somebody just upset or being disrespectful or something like that, to actually be empathetic and listen to this person, but not choose to be offended by this. And I use the examples like if you're in another country and someone's yelling at you in a language you don't understand, obviously you see that they're upset. Something's angry and everything, but you're not even comprehending what they're saying. So you're actually able to be like, I'm sorry. I don't know what is happening right now, but I am truly sorry, and I don't want this to happen, and I wish I could make it up to you. And that's even if I'm understanding you or not. I think it's the same action, it's the same feeling, it's the same place you're coming from, which is a place of love and self-respect and trying to respect other people as well. It's just, if we can just kind of slide into that indifference, just to be kind of, I don't want to say, better than these things, but just free from these typical disrespects and this typical, society kind of, I want to make you feel at times, even right or wrong.
John Green, ladies and gentlemen, what is next for you? What's next for Green Ties? What are we working on? Where can people go to find you? What do you got for us?
Yeah, no, everything. So greenties.org. You can check me out at Instagram as well, greenties_org. Things are absolutely booming. Everything is going so well for Green Ties. All the glory to the kids, because the kids are showing up and taking accountability. We're such a super important part, I feel like, in our society, that we need our young men to step up and start being better leaders. So we have that going. So from a number of workshops that we're going to be doing, partnerships that are coming up in January as well, that really kind of expand our reach, and getting into the mental health field as well, and having mental health resources. So for any of our young men, we know, trauma is trauma on any other level. So effective January, Green Ties will have the ability, so any young man that comes into the program like Mr. Green, I need some help. I'm not doing okay, and it's okay not to be okay. So now Green Ties will have those resources, like here's a number, here's a name, to go get those kind of resources as well. So as far as expanding, we are definitely just rocket shipping at the moment to keep expanding out through the Bay. We have just a lot of things on the plate as far as brick and mortars that should be coming up in the next couple of years as well, to really just having a safe space for our young men. Because if you think about it, in our society now, to send our young adults to get the business, taxes, adult conduct, money, how to buy a house, how to buy, like all these things, there isn't one. But now that we do have something and everything, I know it's going to be successful, and as long as it keeps showing up the way they are, society and our youth, the future is looking extraordinarily bright. So it's a great time.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Love it. I love everything you're doing. I think it's super important, especially with coming back home too, and leaving the comfort of your prior career in Vegas to get this thing off the ground and to start getting some momentum and seeing the fruits of it. It's really cool to watch and just kind of be a fly on the wall for, and just seeing all the things that are coming to fruition. So,
and it's all coming quickly, but it's all testament to the mission. Because once again, I thought this was going to be a little controversial in the beginning. Like, we're bringing back men unapologetically. We need our young men to step up. I thought I was going to have phones pulled out and be like, where do you work at? What's your name and everything. But to my even great surprise, it's been so welcomed. Because when people hear about Green Ties, it's not intrigue or excitement. It's more relief that something is here for our young men, and something is here to get them back on track and give them a blueprint on how, gentleman conduct, overall being coachable, being easy to work with, being a joy to be around, will take you further than education will ever. Although we don't overlook education at all, of course, but just being just a joy and being just a good person overall is one of the best attributes you can have.
Heck yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sweet.
I'm grateful.